Hello viewers, hope you're doing well. Today in this video, I'm going to create update task API for the employee. So let's get started. The employee can only update the task status. So let's go to the employee service. And here I'm going to create a method that is a update task. In the argument, it will receive an ID of the task and the status that is the type of a string. Let me add here the return type that is a task DTO. Let's go to employee service impl. Let me implement the method that is a update task. Inside this, we will write the logic to update the task. So first of all, we need to fetch the task by ID from the database. So let me call here the query from the task repository that is a find by ID. In the argument of this, I'm going to pass here the ID that we are getting in the argument. And here I'm going to create an object of the optional task. And it will be an optional task. After this, I'm going to add here if condition where we have to check if the optional task is present. Then we have to move in the if block. Otherwise, I'm going to throw here the entity not found exception. So it will be a throw new entity not found exception. And here's the message in the type of a string that is a task not found. Inside the if, I'm going to create the object of the task that is a existing task. And here I'm going to assign the optional task dot get. After this, I'm going to set here the task status. In the argument of this, we have to call the method. So let me copy the method from the admin service impl. That is a map string to task status. Let me copy this. Let me paste inside the employee service. So we have to call this method inside the argument of the set task status. Inside the argument of this, we have to pass here the status that we are getting in the argument. After setting the task, I'm going to return here the task repository dot save. Inside the argument of this, we have to pass here the existing task object and it will return task DTO. So we have to call the method from the task entity that is a get task DTO. That is just a conversion of the entity to the DTO. Now let's go to the employee controller. And here I'm going to create a method to call the method from the employee service. So it will be a public return type that is a response entity. Inside this, I'm going to add here the task DTO, name of the method that is a update task. Inside the argument of this, we have to get the task ID and the status from the URL. So it will be at the rate path variable. First, we have to get the ID. And second, we have to get the task status that is a type of a string. Inside this, I'm going to call the method from the employee service that is a update task. Inside the argument of this, we have to pass here the ID and the status. Let me create the object that is a task DTO and it will be a updated task DTO. After this, I'm going to add a if condition where we have to check if the updated task DTO is equals to null. Then we have to return the response that is a response entity dot status that is a HTTP status dot bad request dot build. Otherwise, I'm going to return here response entity dot okay. And inside the argument, we have to pass here the updated task DTO object. On the top of this method, I'm going to add here the annotation that is at the rate get mapping to access this endpoint. So the URL is /task/id/status. So these are the variables for the ID and the status. Let's run the Spring Boot application and let's test the API from the Postman. Before testing the API, I want to show the task status that we will update. As you can see, the task with the title that is the update website content. For now, the status is in progress. Let me copy the JWT token of the logged in employee. Let's navigate to the Postman and I'm going to add here the token inside this input. So you can see here the URL that is a /API/employee/task. This is the base URL of our Spring Boot application. After the slash, we have an ID that is a 6 and the status that is a completed. Mapping it will be a get. Let's navigate to the MySQL workbench and you can see here the ID of the task that is a update website content. Let's click on the send button. As you can see, the status we got 200, okay. And inside the body, we are getting here the updated task object with the status that is a completed. Let's navigate to the Chrome browser. Let me refresh the dashboard page. As you can see, the status got updated from in progress to completed. So that's all for now from my side. In the next video, we'll call this endpoint from the Angular. If you have any confusion, you can do comment. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.